Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, 10:53. Today's pop quiz that we're going to answer was from last night. And the question was, when you get pre-approved for a home loan, what is the first thing you do once you get pre-approved? And the answers I gave were A, call your BFF and rub it in the face. B, post about it on your Facebook and just wait for all the likes to start rolling in. Oh, congratulations. What's up? C, call Team Montalvo and let them take the reins. That's a good one. D, make sure you understand what all the numbers mean. Example, down payment, closing cost, insurance, monthly payments, etc. E, you start looking at Zillow at houses triple the amount because you're balling and ain't no approval going to let or hold you back. No, it's not E. You don't start looking at houses you can't afford. You don't rub it in anybody's face. And you also, well, maybe you can call your BFF and tell them, but you don't rub it in their face. Do you post it on Facebook and wait for the likes to roll in? Sure. It lets people know, like, you're doing adult stuff, you're doing adult things, so it's time to start buying a house. I remember, I'll tell you a quick story. So when I got approved for my very first house, I didn't get approved for my very first house. I applied, and they told me no. They said that my student loans were in deferment, so I had to go and pay my student loans for, I believe it was 6 months straight on time. And at the time, I had dropped out of school and was going back to school, so I just didn't even know that happened to me. So, by the way, what's up, James? What's up, Christina? And what's up, Victoria? So I didn't know that I had all these late payments on my student loans. So when I started paying them back off, then I gave them a call back, and I said, can I do it now? Then they told me, no, now you have this credit card you opened up, and you have this. Long story short, it took me 3 tries. It took me 3 times, and it took me almost 60 points to raise my credit score to get approved for a home loan. Because when I first started the process, my credit score was 550. 550, of course, you can't get approved that way unless you have a really big, sizable down payment. So I got my payment up. I got my credit up. I got to where it needed to be, and I got pre-approved, and I got a home loan. First thing I did is call my mom and dad, and of course told my wife, like, hey, because we've been applying together, I was like, we got it. We got approved. And I want to say we did go online and post about it. Now, my experience is a little different because I have a lot of family that's in real estate. My cousin Chris is in real estate, so it wasn't like a difficult thing. I was kind of led to, I was showed what to do. However, if you're just anybody else that doesn't know a realtor and you go through the process to get approved for a home loan, it's not like when you get approved for a car. Definitely. It's not like, hey, I went to Navy Army, I got pre-approved for a loan, I want that truck. And they write it up, they tell you your numbers, and everything's done. It's not that easy, unfortunately. Buying a house is a little harder. So when you get pre-approved for a home loan, if you're even at that point to get pre-approved, let's back up a little further before I get to that. So if you aren't able to get pre-approved yet, it's okay. You don't have to get approved right out the gate. Don't let that stop you from continuing to better your credit, save more money, and get a better interest rate, and even see if you apply for any kind of down payment assistance programs. There's so many different things you can do when it comes to buying a house that people always think you have to have like millions of dollars in the bank. You have to have been saving your whole life from the moment you started getting an allowance and the moment that you had your first job. Like, if you weren't saving for this house, you're never going to get one. And that's not the case whatsoever. So keep that in mind before you even start the process of getting pre-approved for a loan. Have it in your head that you might not get approved. You might not get approved that very first time, but that's okay. It's always nice to find out where you stand, because if you don't know where you stand, and let's just say, say it's right now, right? We just got into May. So it's May and someone's thinking, okay, well, my lease ends up in December. I don't want to start the process. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to talk to any lenders until then. And then say December comes around and you go talk to the lender and you're like, okay, my lease is going to end up in like 30 days. I better go talk to the lender. The lender says, oh, guess what? There's a few things on here we need to fix before we can pre-approve for a home loan. And you wasted all that time just because you didn't want to talk to somebody and get the advice you needed, where you could have been fixing it. You had all that time, you didn't do it. So now here you are in December, you're not pre-approved. You're like maybe 3 to 6 months away because you got to do different things to fix your credit. And then you're going to start your lease over again. And then it starts over again. And that's how people get stuck renting an apartment for 7 years, 5 years, wasting all that money. So if you're ready to get pre-approved or even find out just where you stand, we help people every single day that don't have any intentions to buy a home until like maybe 6 to 9 months from now. But the reason why we start today, it's always today, is that way you know where you stand. You don't know where you stand, you don't know where you need to be. So always be ready to get ready to be ready whenever it comes time to buy that house, because we unfortunately are in a market right now. Well, it's fortunate for sellers Unfortunate for buyers, where we have a lot of buyers and little inventory. So that means here in Corpus Christi, there's a lot of buyers, all looking at that same price range, all looking in that same area, and houses are going really fast. So if you're not pre-approved and you don't get that set up beforehand, and then you start looking and you're like, okay, well, when I found the house I like, then I'll get pre-approved. Someone who got pre-approved yesterday is making an offer on the house you saw today. That makes sense? So don't do that. So back to the question, what is the first thing you do when you get approved for a home loan? Was it call your BFF and rub it in the face? No. Was it post about it on Facebook and let the likes roll in? Yeah. Call Team Montalvo and let them take the reins. What I mean by that, let us guide you and walk you through with our buyer's packages, our buyer videos, talking to our agents, and going through the steps in a way that you're going to understand, where it's not you, like, remember back in class when they'd be talking and you'd be like, and so does everybody understand what I'm saying? And as soon as the teacher would stop talking, be like, what does that mean? So we don't want that to happen. We want to talk to you like a regular person. We've all been through this experience. I've been through it multiple times. I want to make sure that you understand it from a way that it makes sense. It's not just like blah, 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 the terms, and all these things you don't know yet because you haven't gone through it, obviously. And then you're going to get people that you know and friends and family that have been through the process a couple of times, and maybe they had a good experience. Maybe they had a bad experience. If they had a bad experience, they might even try to scare you. Oh, no, it's hell. It's the worst thing you ever could do. It's so stressful. And then you'll have people be like, no, it was pretty easy. And it goes person to person to person, house to house to house. I can't tell you every single transaction is super easy with no hiccups. But I can tell you that if you trust the process, which we have, you'll make it through and you'll have a brand new house. D was make sure you understand the numbers, what they mean. Again, just because you get pre-approved for a house doesn't mean you have all that money saved up for your down payment. It doesn't mean you have all the closing costs saved up. It doesn't mean that you've already thought about insurance, because most people don't think about that at all until it actually gets down to the point of, okay, how much is my insurance? Because insurance plays a big part in how much your house payment is. Here in South Texas, we have a regular home insurance, and then we have windstorm insurance because we're by the ocean. And of course, for like hurricanes and all those different things and storms, we have to have that windstorm insurance on your roof. There's two different things. There's two different things whenever you get insurance that apply and affect your monthly payment. So those are things too. Monthly payment's another big one too. We had buyers, they get approved for $300,000. They're super excited. They make good money and they want to go look at houses. We start looking at houses. They fall in love with a house that's $299,000. Then once we get talked to the lender and we tell them what their payment is, everything changes. It's like, whoa, okay, hold on. How much is the payment for that house? Just because you're approved for a certain number doesn't mean you have to spend that much when you buy a house. What you want to do, no matter what your number is, no matter what you get approved for, you want to figure out what the monthly payment is, because that's how we afford things, right? We know how much per month we can afford. When we go buy a car, it's like, hey, I can afford this much a month. What are my choices? And I go, okay, here's your choices. When you buy a house, it's got to work the same way. If not, you're going to go in over your head and you're going to be house poor. What that means is you're going to spend all your money that you have budgeted per month to be in that house. You're not going to have money to buy furniture. You're not going to have money to get stuff for the backyard, TVs, appliances, the little knickknacks that make a home, like the stuff from Kirkland, the stuff from At Home, the stuff from Home Goods, the little decorations that you have all over. If you're spending your max budget on your house and your monthly payment, it's really going to cause stress on you. Promise you, I've done it before. You're not going to have money for vacations, any money for entertainment, movies, going out, dinner, just having fun with friends, just buying the random thing that you want, or that nice watch, or just little whatever thing. So don't do that. We want to find out what your monthly payment would be and equate that to a purchase price. Once we know what your monthly payment is, we can equate that to a purchase price, and then we say, hey, look, if you want to spend $1,500 per month, here's the price range we got to look at. If we go over, you got to know your price range is going to go up, and so is your monthly payment. Let me take a pause real quick and see some of these other questions. Again, what's up to Victoria, Christina, James, another Christina, Melissa, and Michael. I'm going to answer a couple questions before we go a little further. And then later on, if your question wasn't answered, you can go back and I'll try to answer it through text. Christina says, but it's not impossible. Best investment I ever made. And if I can do it, anyone can. And don't give up. Mr. Montalvo sounds knowledgeable. Melissa, how different is it to buy out a house from co-owners? Do you mean like, are you currently renting? Or hold on, I'm confused. So who do you own the house with, Melissa? And we'll go back to that one. Michael, How much taxes will go up after you buy? We have to keep fighting the appraisal district every year. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. And a lot of people just got the notice, okay, here's what your house appraised for. So to kind of go on what he's talking about is whenever you go buy a house, there's a couple different numbers. There's the assessed value, the appraised value, and the market value. The market value is what you pay for it. The appraised value is what the appraiser says it's worth, and that's what ultimately the price ends up being. And then there's the assessed value. The assessed value is what the appraisal district says your house is worth. They've never seen it. They've never been inside it. They've never stepped in. They've never gone in the backyard. They go to a neighborhood and they say, okay, all these houses are about this much per square foot, and they give it value to all those different houses. Some of them might be super, super nice and all updated. It's brand new roof, brand new AC, brand new everything. Some of them may not be like that. And so what happens is that house that's not like that has a higher value because of the other ones when it's really not worth that. So what Michael's saying is, if your taxes do go up like that significantly, you can go and you can fight your taxes. You can protest your taxes every year. And if it goes up to a number, you're like, well, hold on. You basically got to go show them, look, this is how much my house is worth. Here's some different defects. You kind of have to make your house look like crap, to be honest with you. And if you talk to a realtor like myself, we can get you some comps being comparables in the area to show you, okay, look, here's what other houses in the area are selling for. So your house is not worth what they think it is. So that's a good point, Michael. Let's see. Michael, David Guy goes, Boondock Saints. Yep. Monbon. And that is why I love my $700 mortgage. There you go. What's up, John? John, it is y'all's turn, man. We got to see some more houses. You and your girl, we got to see some more houses. John and his girl, Rebecca, we've been showing them houses, and we're just waiting for that right one to pop up. Prissy, if we are tax exempt right now, does that go with us to our new home? Yes, you will stay that. Same thing with like an over 65 exemption or disabled vet. You can get that on any home that you have as your homestead. So, that's a good question. The last thing I mentioned on here, these are like the wrong answers of what to do after you get pre-approved for a home loan. The last thing was you start looking on Zillow at houses that are triple the amount of what you're approved for because you're balling and ain't no pre-approval going to hold you down. So here's the thing about that. And I think a lot of people, and I've talked about this before and other times, when you get pre-approved for a home, it's a reality check, big time. And what I mean by that is as we grow up and we get older and we start becoming adults and you start stop living with your parents, you stop having roommates, you start to think, okay, what does stuff actually cost if I'm not splitting it or I don't have someone paying for it? Some of us learn this really early on. Some of us don't. Some of us don't live that life. Some of us live to apartments till we're 30, and there's nothing wrong with that. But whenever it comes time to buy a house, I think some people wake up to the fact like, whoa, houses are expensive because you've been paying controlled rent in a development or a condo where it's not that expensive. So I think what happens sometimes is we get people that maybe are inspired by their friends, which is a good thing. They have friends that are no longer renting. They're actually building equity in a home here in Corpus. They're actually buying a piece of Corpus, and they're building up that equity, and they're living in the home for a couple of years. So they see these homes that their friends have, right? And then they go and they get pre-approved for a home loan. And then in their head, they're already thinking, I want this kind of house, and I want this neighborhood, and this is where I want to be. But then they get pre-approved, and according to their debt to income or whatever their annual income is, and whatever income they're bringing into the household, it's not enough. And it's kind of like, whoa, hold on. They got approved for that house. I know I make more money than him or around the same amount. Why do they have that house? So again, a lot of times people get pre-approved. It might not be for what they want. And then when we show them the houses that are in that price range, it's almost like walking onto the lot and you're thinking, I want an Escalade. I'm going to get this Escalade because I deserve it. So-and-so and so-and-so have one. I'm going to get one. And then you go in, they're like, oh, here's the payments. Here's what it is. You're like, whoa, are they paying that much? A lot of times, yeah, they are paying that much. Or maybe the credit's a little better and they don't have the interest rate on it. So it's a big reality check, but you have to just take it and you have to just realize, okay, you might not get the house of your dreams, the very first house that you buy. And that's okay. If you don't buy the house of your dreams right out the gate, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a reason why, and I think people forget this, that there's homes out there called starter homes. Because you start in that home, and then later on, as you build equity, you sell it, you take the equity, and you go on to the next house. Also, along that time, you're hoping that you build equity in yourself in either knowledge or school, your job, promotions, savings. All those little things have to happen too. So don't be afraid to buy a starter home. And we have some people that get it. They're like, nope, I get it. This is going to be a starter home, and I can't wait to buy the next one. So I'm going to live here for a couple of years. I know I'm not throwing my money away on rent. And I know that my money being spent on this house will come back to me plus. if I keep the house in good shape and, you know, I buy smart, in a couple of years, if I sell from now, I can make all my money back plus. And then you can buy the next house. But then we have some people where they feel like, no, this is the one house I'm going to buy and I'm going to be here forever. And my grandkids are going to play in their backyard. And I don't even have kids. They're my grandkids. And I'm like, no, you can't think that way. You cannot think that way. That's not the point of real estate. You're not going to be stuck there. And that's not the point of buying a house. My point of that last part is live within your means. It's going to be a reality check whenever you get pre-approved to understand, like, okay, well, I can only afford this much. Don't compare yourself to others. You don't know what they've been through or how much they saved or what other properties they had or what other stuff they got going on. So that's a really hard thing I think people wake up to whenever they get pre-approved for a home loan. And it's not the amount they want and it's not for the house they want. It kind of bums them out, but it shouldn't. The fact that you got pre-approved for a home loan already puts you steps ahead of all those other people that can't get pre-approved, of all those people that can't and don't want to spend money month to month to month where they know they're throwing it away. Have you ever like known someone that's lived in an apartment forever? When you leave an apartment, you've been there for a long time, they give you a thing. It's like, here's how much you spent. It's like thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars that they spent when you're thinking, dang, so that year I could have put a down payment. If I just would have like maybe lived with family or split the rent with a roommate or something like that. So either way, long story short, sorry, I'm going to go ahead and post this up on YouTube too, on our YouTube channel. And if you have questions I didn't get to answer, I'll do a couple more before I stop. You can go back to the comments and I'll answer them. The point of this quiz right now, and what the question was asked last night was, when you get pre-approved for a home loan, what is the first thing you do? It should be, after you get pre-approved for a home loan, it should be to talk to someone either you know that's been through the process, if you know a realtor in your family or you have a friend, even if it's not me. Look, I know a lot of people on here are never going to use me as their realtor, maybe because their mom or their aunt or their cousin or their brother, sister, girlfriend, whatever, are a realtor, and that's fine. Just make sure that when you go through this process, whenever you do go through the process, that you talk to someone that you feel comfortable with, that can answer all your questions, doesn't avoid questions, and gets you the answers you need, because this is a big deal. You buy a home is a big deal. It shouldn't be taken lightly. It shouldn't be one of those things where you're afraid. Ask the questions. That's what we're here for. The most common thing I get people telling me is, one more question. I don't charge by the question. I don't charge you at all if you're buying a house. It's absolutely free. To have me help you buy a house, or any one of us, it's absolutely free. So if you have that situation, you're pre-approved, talk to somebody, even if you just pick someone out of a hat, I guess, or someone you can trust, someone has good reviews. So like I said, someone that's been through it. Talk to your lender. I'm sure they can guide you in the right direction of a great realtor that they work with. And that's all you need to do. Or message me, call me, Facebook me, leave a comment. Let me go through real quick. I'm going to pick a random winner to win the Starbucks gift card, and then you can message me, and I'm basically going to send you a barcode. It's a digital Starbucks gift card. Cool. Let's pick. I'm just going to kind of random through whenever my mouse ends up at. Give me a second. Let's pick Ariel Marie. Ariel Marie, you are a winner. I'm going to leave you a comment while I'm here. You are our winner. Let me go back to any more questions that I didn't get to answer. 1 second. I'm glad I have y'all. Hope everyone's having a great day. Okay, John says, yes, sir. Patrick, I'm ready to apply. Where do I go? Patrick, I will message you in a second. Doesn't let me reply yet. And I'll tell you exactly where to go, tell you exactly what to do, and who to talk to. Melissa, my husband and his brother's mom inherited a house from family. We want to buy them out and have it as our home. That makes more sense. Okay, I'm going to like your comment real quick. I'll go back there, and I'll go ahead and answer that privately. Prissy, is it possible to buy using VA benefits while we own our own current conventional home? Good question. So when you have a VA loan, which is for veterans and military, active military, you can buy a home 0% down, 100% financing. You can only use it once or one at a time. So say you own a home that you live in and it's currently under a VA loan, you can't buy another home using that VA privilege again unless this one's sold. Or you can buy this other one, FHA or conventional. So Chrissy, if you're living in a house right now that's conventional, yes, you can buy the next house or another house. VA, we would have to talk to the lender to see if you would have to sell the conventional one or if you can keep it. And then last is Emma and Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca. So let's talk to John. Hopefully, Gina's got some houses set up for y'all, and we'll get to y'all soon. So thank you, everybody, for checking out the show today. Checking out me going live, basically, answering some questions. I'm glad I got to give away some stuff. I'm going to go for 10 more seconds because it'll be an even 20 minutes, and I like that. I like even numbers. I'm not ADD or OCD or anything, but 5, 4, 3, 2,